Flash, how'd you get in here?
Let myself in. Victor gave me the extra key.
He what?
By the way, nice jammies.
Did you grow up in Canada? Were you alive in the 90s? Did you love YTV? Fuck yeah, you did! Welcome back to the show that gives Canadian 90s nostalgia the respect it deserves. Today on the show, we have the beautiful and mischievous Jessica Goldapple. So sit back, strap in as we entertain the crap out of you on You, Me, and YTV, starting now.
Hey everyone, welcome to You, Me, and YTV. I'm here with my favorite character of Student Bodies ever, the talented, the beautiful Jessica Goldapple. You may know her as the evil, conniving sidekick to Victor in the first season, at least, Flash. And then she turned into a conniving, evil, sex kitten, friend of everybody else in season 2. What was the character like when you initially got cast? Because I'm sure you brought something to it.
Yeah, I think it was a lot more of a one-dimensional villain, and it was I was sort of Victor's accessory. I can't really say that there was a whole lot more to it. We were just kind of plotting together. And I think I kind of just wanted to do bad stuff for the sake of it.
Do you know what would make me so happy, Flash?
Move your hand an inch lower, and it's coming off.
You insult me.
You love it.
Yes, I do.
Did she always have that kind of like femme fatale talking, or did you bring that to it?
I hope I'm not remembering it wrong, but I think I brought it to it. I think it was definitely in the text, but it might have been played completely differently by somebody else. Even before I started the show, I've always liked film noir stuff and that kind of dry humor, and I've always been attracted to it. And originally in the pilot, I was supposed to be a recurring character that didn't come back every episode or almost every episode like it ended up being. But I think that they saw something interesting with that kind of potential for something different than they thought, and then I ended up getting more episodes, which was awesome.
Yes, Chrissy. Good luck.
If anyone needs luck, it's you, Victor.
Oh, and why is that?
Because you're standing in front of half the school with your fly open.
Oh, great!
In season 1, like, you guys were the villains, but season 2, you guys became the gang, kind of.
Kind of, yeah. We still kind of had, I think, a little bit of an antagonistic edge. We still kind of, as the newspapers ended up merging, that kind of went away, and we were just sort of still maybe on a little bit of a different side, but yes, we became much more of the gang, and as the show progressed, I think we were fully immersed in it.
Flash was always the most, and please pardon the terms, was always the most sexually aware, or seemed to be.
Ooh, you brought a friend. Kinky.
When all the other girls were like, you know, ew, Chris, don't kiss me. Mm-hmm. Flash was like, you know,
yeah,
you kissed the crap out of them, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually just telling my boyfriend who's sitting there that
give him a shout out, yo.
Oh, it's Brian Carmody. He's an awesome LA musician and composer, and very proud of him.
And he's very big. Don't screw around, internet. Watch those comments. Keep them clean.
Yeah. I was just telling him that one of the memories I have of the show is that Chris and I did the first real make-out kiss.
He was telling me to bring this up, actually.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Before the show was really tame. I don't know if you've ever watched Disney Channel shows, and I did do a reoccurring on a Disney Channel show years ago, but they tell you, like, you can't make eye contact for too long. Your kiss has to be really brief and short. It has to be really clean, and I think that's the way the show sort of started, in that spirit. And somewhere as they decided that the demographic was going to be an older demographic, that kind of went out the window, and I think we definitely spearheaded it, but it was only a matter of time because they had Flash doing innuendo and sexual puns starting in
a lot of sexual puns.
Number 7. Feeling lucky? I know I am.
That first kiss that we did, that crazy first makeout kiss, we got applause from the crew after. They were so surprised and shocked. And, you know, if I'm being honest, I was pretty young then, and I probably didn't even have the experience to back up what I was attempting to do.
So, what would you say the zoom length is on that baby?
With this? Oh, 20 to 1.
Really? On that itty-bitty little thing.
Watch this. I can get so close, I can play connect the dots with his dandruff. So tell me.
Congratulations. You just been flashed.
She seems to have a lot of layers, and she would say things with sexual innuendos. She would say things like a femme fatale, but they would throw you these little extra lines like, how could you possibly have fun with Flash? And you said,
Have fun with Flash, if that's possible.
Oh, it's possible.
Just not likely.
you always portrayed this character that I am aware of who I am. I'm not someone's doormat. I take what I want and I eat men for breakfast. But at the same time, I'm no hoe bag either.
I think the point of the character was to sort of push people's buttons a little bit and to see what she could get away with. I think maybe she always felt like, I can't wait till I'm out of high school. I kind of felt like that too when I was going to high school. I always had my eye on the bigger picture, and I didn't go to my prom. I went to a theater program in Boston because that started when my prom was, and I was like, I'd rather go to the program. I think there's a lot of that in Flash. Like, she just couldn't wait for the guys to be older. You know, like these high school boys, she was already over it, but she liked to play a little bit and see what she could get away with and practice. So yeah, I think that there was a certain amount of fun she'd have, like the way a cat could kind of toy with a bird, you know, that kind of a thing.
Miller.
I did notice that the character Flash, mostly out of pity, kissed Victor twice, I think. And were the writers ever trying to play you guys off of a romantic pairing?
Couldn't get any worse than this.
Sure it could. You're young. There's a whole world of terrible experiences just waiting to be explored.
Thanks, Flash. But there's nothing you could say or do that's gonna make me feel any better. Although...
I don't know that they ever really went there fully, if I can remember correctly. If I'm wrong, sorry, writers. You know, maybe if it had continued on the strain of us just being the villains and being each other's best friends, and that would be that, they might have gone there. But because we all kind of immersed into the group, I don't think it was the most interesting choice, story-wise.
A little too obvious.
A little obvious.
With the forbidden fruit of you and Ross/Chris being together, that was a fun story arc.
Think anyone suspects?
No way. We are so good. But I still think I should tell Victor. He is my friend.
And what am I?
You want to be my friend, Brown Eyes? Or do you got something else in mind?
That was a fun story arc, and I think he was there was a bit of a clown to Chris, you know, a little bit of somebody that could be manipulated, so I think that's why Flash would have liked him.
You know, Shepard, you're not too bright. I like that in a man. What? I'm starving. Buy me dinner.
I'm not really in the mood. Of course, you gotta eat.
But Flash always had this thing underneath her that would come out at the most random times. And I remember just being a kid watching a show like, haha, show about high school, and then all of a sudden, bam, you got Degrassi reel about stuff. Like the episode where Mags wanted breast implants.
Yeah.
And they were just like, I don't understand why she just doesn't like herself for herself. And then you come in and just give this speech.
It was a little intense, yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I can understand how Max feels.
Really? Have you ever been called flat-chested? Have you ever been teased in gym class? Are you sick and tired of saleswomen barging into your dressing room saying, don't worry, honey, we'll just take it into the bust? No? Then maybe you don't understand how Max feels.
And I think now, when you think about it, like the idea of the show's themes and what they would be like now, that would be something that would be really useful. The person that would come in and say, listen, don't judge. You don't know where people come from. And there's a different kind of feminist spin you can put on things in areas like plastic surgery and things like that you might not have thought it would be appropriate to talk like that. And so I think Flash was always just a little bit progressive.
I don't know a single girl who doesn't hate some part of her body.
I hate my thighs.
My hips.
My toes. What? I have ugly toes. Thankfully, the rest of me is perfect.
There's this episode called Victor Gets Drunk, where, you come to your friend's aid and you're like, all right, let's go.
Forget it. How do you expect me to get home?
Well, we're going to call little Victor a cab because you're not driving tonight.
Yes, I am.
No, you're not. Newsflash, you're drunk.
No, I'm not. You're just over-exaggerating because of that little problem in your family.
What?
Oh, come on, Flash. Not everybody who drinks is going to become an alcoholic like your mother. Well, it's true. Oh, come on, Flash. Fine, here, okay, I won't drive.
And that to me, just as a fan interpretation, probably not to you, I'm not sure, but that just to me made me question all the other decisions Flash has ever done. I'm like, you know what? All this might be kind of a front. Like, I'm strong, but I'm doing this so you can't get under my skin.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a normal, well, not normal, but I think it's a logical thing to do. If you get abandoned in any way, emotionally or actually by a parent, you toughen up. And you're your own boss. And I could see why Flash would not let people too close to her if somebody really hurt her that way. But in a way, even though Victor and Flash had this sort of like repartee together where she would mess with him and he would tell her what to do, and there was sometimes, that kind of a thing, they were still best friends.
In all the time I've known you, you've done some pretty crappy things to other people. But never to me.
Oh, my God. I can't believe I said that, Flash. I was drunk. And I was just trying to have a good time.
And did you?
And I think it's kind of a great, definitely stepped out of the genre of the show a little bit, but it's kind of a great example of like stuff that happens to people all the time. And people know how to pick the worst possible wound on somebody to get a reaction.
Flash, please. You are going to forgive me for this, aren't you?
Yeah, I will. Eventually. But I just can't trust you like I used to.
Flash, I am truly sorry.
How come they all say that when they sober up?
To me, that was, again, another opportunity that they gave me to actually have some real acting moments and a huge door opening in terms of me understanding the character myself.
All right, we just got super dark. Now we're going to go super light. Okay. Do you have any fun stories from the set that you remember?
Do you remember that flashback episode where we were playing this game that was like a kissing game, and the writers thought, who would be the most awkward people to have to kiss? And then they came up with Cody and Flash, because Jamie and I
We're roommates.
But
He told me I'm not weird.
No, I saw the interview.
Okay.
But like the most platonic brother sister, he's always been like my big brother. So we would never dream of that. And they knew that it would be really funny to make us do it. And we also, we had this thing where we knew that it would be funny to do one of those kinds of kisses. Like, we'd always laugh about the kisses on TV shows where it would take people a really long time to kiss because they were so, into it. And so it was like you had to change your head direction 10 times. But we did it awkwardly. So that was a really fun day where we got to, play out what it would be like if someone forced us to do that. And I think that's really cool. Like, the writers always had our little inside scoop happening, things that were happening between us.
We've always been told you gotta go to college, you gotta get a college education, you wanna get a good job, you gotta get a college degree. Well, I bought it, and now I'm not so sure.
I'm sorry, Cody, but I don't do life-changing advice. That would involve me getting mixed up in other people's problems, and I have a strong aversion to meddling.
No, you don't. You love to meddle.
You're right. But I'm gonna stay out of this particular situation.
Just tell me how you came to your decision.
Simple. I closed my eyes and felt what was in my gut.
That's it?
That's it.
What was Jamie like as a roommate?
Oh, gosh. We had so much fun. Jamie's a little bit... Can I swear?
fuck. Yes.
Well, Jamie's like a little bit of a fucker. Like he's a musical snob. He's a very good musician, but he's a musical snob. But I am a snob in other ways too, and we enjoyed being a little bit pretentious together. But there was one time where we were deciding what movie we wanted to watch, and I said, I don't know, what do you feel like watching? And I knew what his movie collection was, and he said, okay, well, I'll give you a hint. And he goes to his piano. And he starts playing a classical piece. And I was like, oh, you want to watch Amadeus? And he went, that's Beethoven, Jess. Beethoven.
Now, no one said living together would be easy, but it's a decision you both made, and you'll both have to live with if you want this relationship to work. Now, Cody, why don't you start?
Yeah, and actually, when I first got the part, we lived in the same neighborhood. When we were shooting the pilot, we both still lived at home and very, very close by to one another. And he drove me home from this party they gave us to like welcome us all to the thing. And I was still like really shy, terrified to be a professional actor, didn't know what the heck I was doing. He had already been doing it. And he wouldn't let me get out of the car until I remembered what like the proper German name for the theme to 2001 Space Odyssey was. I was trying to say 2001 Space Odyssey theme, and he was like, what is it? What is it in German? And he wouldn't let me get out of the car until and then he finally told me. So like he messed with me like that. I'm making him sound like a douche, but he's awesome. He'd also like do like a live musical score to whatever I was doing in the apartment. That delighted me. Yeah. So he was an awesome roommate. We had such a good time together.
He told me that he was your drama teacher at a summer camp.
Was. Yeah, he was cool. I auditioned for his camp play, which was supposed to be a musical, with a monologue from Fellini's La Strada, which is a really intense Italian film, I believe from the 60s. It's an art house film. I was 14 years old, so I can make fun of him all I want with Amadeus, but we're the same person.
You really had your shit together at 14.
Too much.
When I was at 14, I was watching South Park and, farting
been.
and, you know.
It was not, now I'm watching South Park and farting. Like I'm catching, like making up for lost time. But I was way too serious. So is it any wonder that I had this complicated character in a kid show?
You remember Cody?
Hey, Flash. Francesca.
Cody! Oh, it is so nice to see you again. You look... oh, great.
What was your favorite Flash moment, would you say? Like,
it's the whole episode is the whole film noir episode, the Dead Men Don't Go to Edison episode, the black and white episode that we did. That they knew that was my dream come true. Just getting the hair waved and that Lauren Bacall finger wave and like being it. We actually, this is a great story. The whole cast, or almost the whole cast, got together at mine and Jamie's apartment the night before we shot that to watch The Big Sleep and other Bogart movies and really prepare like how to do the cadence and how to do everything.
Murder of Max Abernathy. We got Shepard in custody. How long do you think it'll take before he cracks?
I told you before, Flatfoot. I didn't do it.
It was just, I don't know. I mean, it's to give us the opportunity to do something so different and stylized. And the vampire episode there too. Actually, that whole episode was so much fun.
Which one's vampire? I was looking for it.
Same episode. It's three. We all have to write. It's about us writing something in a genre. So we each pick a genre, and I pick film noir because it's my favorite / Jessica Goldapple's favorite. And Mags picks Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and they do a takeoff. And Jennifer Finnegan does a great Willow in that. She does the impression perfectly.
Mags, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. But these vampires are really starting to get out of hand.
Tell me about it. I heard they wiped out the entire Glee Club.
So that was really fun. Victor and I got the contact lenses, and we actually were fitted for the contact lenses, and we had to wear them out on the street to make sure we could handle light.
Yeah.
And I think we scared a couple of people walking down the street on purpose, just by looking at them, looking like demons. It's pretty fun. So getting to like dress up and do that stuff, that's amazing. Are you kidding?
Were there any cast members that, as intimidated as you were because they were older, was there little in-house crushes on any of our cast members?
All the guys were adorable and gorgeous. I gotta say, here's a confession.
Okay.
You ready?
I'm ready.
So I introduced Brian, my boyfriend, earlier, and he's like a professional musician.
Yeah.
I've always had professional musicians, or at least amateur musicians. Someone's always been able to play an instrument if I've dated them. It's a theme. And what do you play?
Lots.
Okay.
Very amateurly.
as long as you've got a passion for it. I think Jamie talked about how our crew was all musicians.
Okay.
Our drivers and stuff.
Yeah.
So my crushes were more on the like late 30s driver guys who were in the blues bands. I definitely, like, nothing ever happened and I was way too young for them, but I definitely, as Flash would have, I definitely tried to flirt, and I think I made out with somebody at a rap party once.
Awesome.
I don't think I know I did.
That's so wild that, like,
but
you know.
I was coming into my grown-upness. You know, I was a kid when I got the thing. I still lived with my parents, and I adored all of the guys, but I don't know that I ever felt like it was just so much more of like a these are my friends thing, and I think even then I knew the value of that. I didn't want to mess with that, you know.
Nothing lasts forever. The show ends. Were you bummed when the show ended?
I think we expected it. I think we were bummed, but I think we were sort of told like 65 episodes is the amount you usually get to for syndication.
Yeah.
I wondered what I was going to do next.
Life after high school.
Yeah. I think I hung around in Montreal for a year, and there weren't that many opportunities for acting. I did a few guest spots on things. I still was that person that had the Shakespeare passages and wanted to study more. So what I decided to do was go get my theater degree. And I moved to California. I went to a school called Cal Arts, which is an all-arts institute, smaller school. And I studied theater for 4 years, and kind of took myself out of the game for a little bit and put my focus on stage work.
You have a passion for that anyway. If you're writing Shakespeare on the walls and all that, then you belong on stage.
You know, honestly, I mean, stage isn't the most money you can make, but...
It ain't about the money. It's about the love of what you do and what you leave behind.
Yeah, and I do love it. I love on-camera stuff too, but the quality of storytelling and the richness of storytelling and the working with an ensemble and every night being different. If you're doing it right, you know, there's no such thing as totally recreating moments. Everything kind of feels fresh. It should feel fresh, and you have to hit things that you've hit and, you know, do things that you need to do. But theater is exciting that way. It's gone after the evening that you see it, and it'll never be again, that same thing. So I like that.
Awesome. You were mentioning when we were talking about, oh man, I'm glad I'm not 20. I don't remember how on Facebook, but it was brought up. There's just like, I'm glad I'm not an embarrassing 23-year-old anymore. And you're like, my 30s have been the best. Why?
Well, definitely the period we did Student Bodies was some of the best years of my life. Don't get me wrong at all. But I think in your 30s, you're just a little bit more able to be yourself. And it's not to say that my life's been totally easier. I've gotten everything I've wanted. That's not true at all. But I feel like I know myself. I feel like I know how to have healthy relationships with both with friends and boyfriends. And I think that you're just better equipped. I mean, some people are that way in their 20s, more power to them. I had a lot of figuring out to do, things that I wanted, believing I could do things, believing I deserved things. I feel better about all that stuff now.
What would you say to all the girls that were out of age and needed a strong role model and saw one in you? What would you say to them now?
Oh, God. I would say, should I look into camera? Yeah. I would say, I don't know. I guess thanks for recognizing something positive in someone who might have been construed as bossy or aggressive, but actually had some good female balls. Thanks for getting my jokes and not... I think that it's really cool when girls support each other and give each other props, and I think it's cool if girls identified with me instead of, I think like a lot of times at that age you're looking at the guys on the show and you're thinking how cute they are, and it's like I was like that when I would watch shows like Dawson's Creek and stuff. You're looking at the guys, so if there's any girls who liked watching me just to see my storylines or to get my jokes or to see someone kind of taking charge of their life a little bit and saying what needed to be said, that's awesome. So I hope that that's what I did. in some small way.
I like the female balls. That was fun.
And female balls. Yeah.
Thank you, Jessica Goldapple, for being so amazing. Make sure to subscribe, share, and tell all your friends that 90s nostalgia is still alive on You, Me, and YTV. Go